Trade Federation aspired to far more than their name would suggest. By the twilight years of the Galactic Republic, the corporation was an empire unto itself. Evidence of their power stretched from the distant sectors of the Outer Rim, where entire worlds were Federation assets, to the heart of Coruscant, where senators were similarly bought and paid for. Everywhere, lobbyists, insiders, and power brokers all worked tirelessly to advance the company's interests or grant them the veneer of legality. Empowered with this authority, the company was able to ensure that what could not be settled in a boardroom would be decided on a battlefield. The droid armies of the Trade Federation were amongst the largest the galaxy had ever seen. At their head was the Mark I armored assault tank. Classified as a medium repulsor lift tank, the AAT-1, or AT-1, was designed to fulfill the role of an infantry support vehicle, providing mobile firepower and battlefield versatility. It was expected to create and exploit breakthroughs in the enemy line, suppress fortified positions, and draw heavier fire away from its accompanying infantry. The AAT-1 could help sustain the momentum of any advance, or form a powerful anchor within a defensive line. Its relative versatility also enabled the tank to fulfill certain secondary functions. Infantry could ride atop its hull to perform tank descent, or cargo might similarly be affixed to the vehicle to quickly and seamlessly transform it into a makeshift logistics vehicle. Though closely associated with the Trade Federation, and later the Confederacy of Independent Systems, the armored assault tank later fell into service with a variety of groups across the galaxy, including Separatist holdouts, raiders, criminal groups, and eventually even the Alliance to restore the Republic. At roughly 9.75 meters in length, 16 meters wide, and 14 meters tall, the armored assault tank presented a unique and towering silhouette. Its design featured a broad, semicircular hull and a centrally mounted dome turret with elongated, angled extensions. Together, these contributed to a streamlined, yet complex appearance that made the tank extremely recognizable on any battlefield. The AAT was among the most heavily armed infantry support vehicles of its era, designed to counter a diverse range of threats, including infantry, light vehicles, other tanks, or even low-flying aerial craft. Its primary weapon was a turret-mounted heavy laser cannon, which would prove its effectiveness in the Clone Wars, capable of piercing even the frontal armor of the Republic's all-terrain tactical enforcers. The turret provided a full, unobstructed 360-degree field of fire, while its elevated position gave the AAT a significant advantage when engaging targets over obstacles, such as ridges, walls, or even other vehicles. This could be especially beneficial when operating in uneven terrain or urban environments, but the turret's position at the rear of the hull left the heavy cannon unable to depress far enough to fire on closer targets. Secondary armaments mitigated this weakness in the main gun and included 2 medium laser cannons fixed to the vehicle's sides atop the elevated hull, though beneath the turret. Dedicated rangefinders made these weapons especially potent against more nimble, maneuverable craft. Another set of dual, shorter-range anti-personnel blasters were located at the base of the upper hull of the vehicle. The armored assault tank's final, most specialized armament was 6 multi-purpose projectile launchers mounted across the front of the lower hull. These could fire a variety of different ammunition types. They were most commonly loaded with high explosive, armor-piercing, or high-energy general-purpose shells. More specialized munition types might also be included, depending on battlefield or mission conditions, and be easily swapped in or out of the launchers by integrated autoloaders in the lower hull. Protection was provided solely by armor plating, which was concentrated disproportionately across the vehicle's front, leaving its sides, top, and rear more vulnerable. Its design, however, intended for the tank's mobility to serve as another layer of defense. A compact, 4-chambered, multi-reactor power plant was located in the rear of the vehicle, and provided for 2 heavy stabilized repulsor lifts, and a versatile array of auxiliary repulsor discs and coils. A true repulsor tank, the AAT could quickly reorient itself, bringing both its most heavily armored sections and primary armament to bear against threats from any direction in only seconds. When operating in ideal environments, the AAT had a maximum speed of 55 km per hour, and this could be maintained across even rougher terrain or water bodies with rolling waves. Though closely associated with droid armies, the AAT was a crewed vehicle, requiring a driver, 2 gunners, and a commander to operate at peak effectiveness. The tank could be operated solely using a sensor suite and optics array dispersed across its hull. In the event of sensor or optical failure, the driver could utilize a forward-facing vision block, accessible through the armored driver's hatch, providing a direct line of sight for manual operation. Its dual gunners operated the AAT's secondary armament, while the commander was responsible for the operation of the main cannon and crew coordination. A ramp, situated in the rear of the vehicle, provided primary access, while hand and footholds located across the tank enabled easy access atop even its elevated turret. These also served a secondary function, allowing up to 6 personnel to ride atop the vehicle for combat or logistical purposes. The armored assault tank was initially designed and produced by the Bactoid Armor Workshop, a subsidiary of Bactoid Industries, which was itself a part of the Techno Union. Together with the Trade Federation, Commerce Guild, Corporate Alliance, and Retail Caucus, these conglomerates were slowly forming the core of a growing secessionist movement and conspiracy. The development of a battle tank during an era of relative peace appears in retrospect to be a key indicator of their ultimate intentions. The AAT is believed to have entered service across the Trade Federation just prior to their invasion of Naboo, where it spearheaded the initial armored drive into that world's capital of Theed. The sight of these vehicles parading down empty streets, flanked on either side by formations of battle droids, initially lent the AAT a formidable reputation. Assessments of its combat effectiveness were heavily damaged, however, following their ignominious defeat by local insurgents and remnants of the Royal Naboo security forces in engagements that should have favored the Trade Federation's armies. Upon the outbreak of the Clone Wars, the AAT quickly assumed its place as the primary tank and infantry support vehicle of the Confederacy of Independent Systems. Most assessments consider the vehicle to have been quite capable under the right circumstances, but ultimately undermined by the ineffectiveness of its droid crews, who relied on basic, predictable tactics that failed to utilize the tank's advantages. The AAT was also highly vulnerable to electromagnetic attacks, which could leave the tank immobile and easily achieve a mission kill. It was even possible for a skilled sniper to detonate the tank's laser firing mechanism with a shot aimed directly down its barrel. The placement of its heaviest weaponry on the upper turret and lower hull likewise heavily limited the situations in which the AAT could effectively utilize its entire arsenal. Despite this, many tanks were donated to Separatist-aligned groups, most notably the Death Watch, who had utilized the design during the Siege of Mandalore. It was also considered as the platform for a new variant of weapon, a defoliator, that could specifically target organic material. Both prototypes of this design were destroyed in action, however, and the variant would never enter widespread production. With the end of the Clone Wars and the rise of the Galactic Empire, the AAT ceased to be produced or fielded on any large scale. Surviving vehicles instead fell into the hands of planetary defense forces and a wide variety of non-state actors. Many were modified to incorporate more advanced or specialized weaponry, or additional crew comforts to accommodate organic personnel. Ultimately, the cost of maintaining repulsor vehicles without dedicated production lines ensured the vehicle had nearly disappeared from active use by the time of the New Republic. The armored assault tank was a formidable, capable vehicle that nevertheless found itself out of step with the abilities of its crews and the realities of battlefield conditions. It has become a fitting metaphor for the Trade Federation and the Separatists themselves, a grand design whose ambitions clashed with practical execution. They remain only in the scrap heap of galactic history.
In Arsenal, the Templin Institute investigates the weapons, vehicles, and other constructs from across alternate worlds. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to join the Templin Institute, consider pledging to our Patreon page. Along with increased security access, you'll be able to vote in polls to determine future topics, get custom wallpaper every week, and receive some other exclusive rewards.